We have economist, investor Paul Theron joining us today.
I'm supremely unqualified as an
medium-term budget. No, I just see that you say that it's weak. Tell us why.
Well, I thought the whole thing was weak. You know, we're not getting in enough money. The economy is not growing fast enough. Public servants' wage bill is through the roof. The deficit's going to be too large. The debt-to-equity ratio has gone to the dogs.
If I may say, this is the most pessimistic I've ever heard you, if I may say. But what about the positive elements where the minister was talking about getting rid of inefficiencies and making sure that we see more investment spend through government and not just so much about the wage bill, that he is very cognizant of those things, that we save 4.2 billion rand with the VAT fraud saga that perhaps is going on right now?
Yeah, well, you know, we normally hear things like that. I mean, everybody knows South Africa is a slightly unusual place with regard to politics and who's got money and who pays tax and who thinks they're getting something from the state and who isn't, and how we're addressing our economic inequalities and so on and so forth. But my overwhelming sense of it is that what we really need government in this country to do is to do less. In other words, stop trying to design stuff and just look at what's working in the economy and try and get out the way. But we know that political alliances with the labour movement and so on mean that all that stuff's quite difficult and quite tricky. But I think overwhelmingly I had a sense that I'm very grateful the finance minister is who he is, and he's quite realistic, and I loved the way he was kind of getting the members of parliament to kind of applaud after certain issues. He was like, you should be applauding now, and then they'd like clap hands generously.
Okay, but Paul, also looking at the debt to GDP ratio, we're increasing that to around 40%, so debt's 40% of GDP going forward. Is that a good thing, positive element for you, or do you think that we are getting into dangerous territory?
You've got to target something. I'd be comfortable with lesser deficits, but I think we will see an economic rebound globally, and then we'll start to benefit as well, and then tax collections will be good, and our mining companies will start paying much bigger taxes, and so everything will be cool. And we know that our retailers and our banks and all the rest of them will continue to do business, so there'll be lots of VAT collected. So don't get the sense that I'm negative about the country. All I'm saying is our national finances, our national finances are not looking as good as they were a couple of years ago.
American Tobacco, BTI, could be, or of course it's an inward listed stock, and now it's going to be viewed as domestic. What do you make of that move?
Well, that's positive for them, because then they'll be in the index where they belong. There's going to be a company at the bottom of the index which is going to get kicked out. Haven't yet worked out which one that is, but we'll have to look and see. It's probably one of those around the level of sort of Discovery or, you know, Massmart or one of those. That's a bit small. It's at the bottom of the All Z 40. So one in at the top, another one out the bottom. Normally you see a bit of, you know, jockeying by the index funds, but I'm not really expecting too many fireworks from there.
You're also looking at slightly smaller companies at this point. I know two of them, actually. Tell me.
Well, I'm not sure if that's the point you're reading off the piece of paper there, but I wanted to point out that in America, there's this company, Netflix, which totally crashed overnight because of an earnings-related debacle. It's a company which does what box office does in this country, you know, movies online via the web. Anyway, I'm just making the point, because I was talking about it on Twitter, that I bought some of those shares because it was down 36% overnight. But it's going to be interesting.
What's the market cap of that company?
I don't even know. I think I must go and check the business fundamentals. Yeah, it's sort of quite big. I think it's like $10 billion.
I'm so glad that you actually do evaluation on all the numbers before you buy a company.
Well, I thought, you know, down 36%, great business opportunity, good buy. I'll go and check the fundamentals afterwards.
Later.